Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the breakfast show, Money Talk with SmartRobie. I'm your host, Martin Wong. As usual, we have a great show coming up for you. Now, this week, we will have our public holiday on Thursday, so that will be a great rest for tomorrow before we continue on the market. Now, we also have seen the rubber glove continue to sell off, but yesterday was the big pullback that we've seen after being down almost 6 to 7 consecutive days. We have a lot of markets, those rubber glove initiated their pullback. That's right. I think Hartalega, which I have, did stage almost a 12% return, and this morning we will look at those in here. But very interesting, in the light of all the story that we cover, there's a little news that came out that might just interest you for those of you who are still holding the rubber glove. Shall we turn our attention to the market and the story goes? Now, for those of you who are listening for the first time, do type 1 and do download the SmartRobie that you see on the left hand side, absolutely free, and share it with your friends. And of course, do appreciate if you could share in your timeline if you feel the information that we're providing will help you or your friend to make a little bit of money in this market rally. Not to be missed, let's move on to our first story. Now, first story is no other than what we have seen yesterday, the Contra Trading, which always been part and parcel of our little small timer like you and me, but now there was just one broker house who seems to remove it due to the risk management, and then suddenly everybody said, is this a new trend that we are seeing? But the ASCM, the Association of Stockbroking, did come out and say, look, this is only a small concern, because one of the things that was raised, as you can see on the right hand side, many of those active stock counters are really penny stocks. XOX, AT Systemization, Sapura Energy Holding, and all this PDZ Lambo, and that's really a cause of concern, because when you pull that plug out from Contra Trading on the small timer and small caps, you will see a big drop in the volume. As such, the KLSE may not even go higher. Right now, many of you would have agreed that 34% to almost 34 to 35% of the participation on the Bursa is due to the retail outlet. So this has been really a big bomber if we were to pull it out. Now, within the same story, all right, it is again not a blanket coverage on all clients by other broker. Now, let me ask you this question: did you have your broker implementing a no Contra Trading? If you do, just type it in there. It'd be interesting to see what's happening in the market. All right. Let's move on to our next story. Is no other than the rubber glove, like which we talked about early on. The rubber glove continued its roller coaster ride as shares tumble. A lot of people say, it's time to get out. A lot of people say it's time to get back in. What do you think? Now, a very interesting report which came out from Macquarie, which one of our partners in education, is they did talk about, I haven't seen this report yet from MQ Research Report. Perhaps you can pick it up from the Telegram group of Macquarie. It talks about the rubber glove shortage continue to support earnings. That's maybe this reason why yesterday when this report came out, the rubber glove sector include the big four where we usually see Hartalega, Supermax, Top Glove, and Kosan stage a rebound, and not forgetting the little small one if you see on your premium alert, the Comfort, the Rubber Racks, the Kelly, and even eSafe all sudah come back again. So is this a time to look at it? But you need to go deeper than just that. If you have missed out on the rubber glove, maybe this is a low risk entry. Perhaps also look at the risk to reward before you enter this. So use the trading plan that SmartRobie has provided and look into it. But also within the same story, Top Gloves has approved for 2-to-1 bonus issue, and that seemed to be coming. And also at the same time, there were talks on this coming budget by Putrajaya whether it is going to have a windfall tax on this sector like they did on CPO. I feel that it is fairly unfair because this rubber glove did take all the risk, but I believe the Putrajaya may not impose this windfall tax, and this is just purely speculation from the media. What do you think? Do you think there will be a windfall tax or not? Let me know what you think, all right? So this is interesting going forward. Now, the next story that we have is no other than Gpacket, which continue to hog the headline both on the popular media that we see in here and definitely from the star business in here. Gpacket is on the cloud tied up with Tencent, another big tech company, AI that is from China but listed in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Now the story revolved around this commitment of almost 100 million to set up the 600 server in there. And interestingly, let's look at the Gpacket right now. As you can see, I want to show you the chart here, right? It has a little bit nice pickup, all right, on the what we call accumulation. That's right. See in here, and of course the news yesterday came out, and you can see very fast as the market just hits out. On 26th of July, the Green Pentagon able to pick it up, and then this news. It is always interesting to note that the Pentagon Guider able to pick traces of good news before breakout much earlier. In the sense of almost 2 weeks before this news came out, there were already a Green Pentagon buy alert, and then finally now the news is confirmed. They take profit. Buy or rumor, sell on fact. And the story also talk about the revenue contribution from this services of this 100 million setup of 600 server, and they intend to invest more, 3,000 to 4,000 servers in the next 4 to 5 years, and they feel that the cloud server or cloud services, right, will have a take up, and that will contribute to the EBITDA, right, almost 30 to 40% of Gpacket. So is this a good time to take a look at Gpacket? Certainly, in my opinion, I would buy at a better setup, perhaps at a pullback for the advanced setup, and something that we teach in our main course masterclass that you see on the right hand side of the description. And the next intake will be October. All right, let's move on to our next story that we have for you. It's no other than VS. Now remember, on Monday, that's right, we pick up VS as it appeared, and right now this news comes out. So it is no rocket scientist. Sometimes we see that a lot of stocks start to move up, and we pick it up through the Green Pentagon, and Robie able to pick up to the price and volume. Now a lot has been said about this, that VS has secured a contract to manufacture cordless electrostatic sprayer used in sanitization purposes. So this is definitely the COVID-19 industry, or something like in the PPE. So that's what the stock did move up. But let's look at the VS for what it is, because we have to look at it anyway, because we picked this up on a Wednesday. Okay, let's hit that button there. All right, and look at the stock price in here. So VS, having said that, has made the great run. If you look at it, VS from right at the bottom, 1st of May, holding almost 3 months, you would have made at least 80% profit. And how do I know that? And you can go on to VS, you just type stock comment. Yeah, stock comment is here. You can see, let me just close this up. You can see right here, next premium fact, that VS has accuracy of 80%. Okay, which means out of 10 trades, whenever Pentagon comes out, you will get it right. That's a very high winning rates. So take note of it. When VS has Green Pentagon, you might want to think to buy as an idea. And because of this last Green Pentagon that they have, it went up 71.4% from the Green Pentagon at 94 cents, which is 20th of May. Interesting fact, yeah? Robie with his Pentagon Guider able to pick this up for you in here, and you could even, of course, let's look at the fundamentals in here that we see so far. Right, fundamental, of course, is going to be one. It's slightly pricey because of 26 times, and ROE certainly not the double digit that we want. It's only 6.66%, right? And it is 3 billion capital cap, but it does pay 2.72% in here. Now, one thing I was looking for is the possibility of the amount, money, then we can able to figure out what is the contribution to its overall revenue, just like Gpacket. I think that's good too for people like a small timer to see any contracts, what is the amount, or else it's just a lot of BS, Now, let's move on to our next story that we have in here. is no other than Dialog, the oil and gas. Now we all know, for those of you who don't know, Dialog is in the oil storage container. So that's what with this lower prices that we've seen on the crude oil, many of them wanted to use services of Dialog to contain all the oil because they don't want to sell it in the market yet, maybe trying to fetch a better price. So definitely Dialog will benefit from people buying big container that you see. So this and it's no surprise why the net profit really increased to 156 million compared to 140 million compared to the last quarter on the improved profitability. At the same time, revenue did dip to 3.4% to 2.3 billion. But it has a good work done on the Dialog terminal, Langsat 1, 2 and 3 and the Pengerang terminal that you see in Johor, where they have a lot of this storage in there. Good work for Dialog. Let's take a look at Dialog chart, shall we? Okay, so let's take a look at Dialog chart, and you can see Dialog chart, okay, on this hasn't been wonderful, and they do tied to the crude oil. But one thing I can say, right at this junction in here, it does have a good support around $3.60, just slightly above there, and this is something maybe be interesting to look at it for the longer term. Let's look at the dividend. By the way, I do have this stock as part of my client portfolio, a little bit play on the oil and gas. Okay, let's look at the stock fundamental that we see here, and I was only pay 1%. It's slightly overrated too, has a fundamental rating of 1 in here. And let's look at the next is the stock price for today. See whether this news has impact. Yes, the news from the Start Business has a 2% up move on Dialog. All right, is this a good one? If you like oil and gas, perhaps you can use the SmartRobie to look at this one. All right, let's move on to our next story that we have here. Is no other than BToto. Now again, BToto is not Sharia compliance to all our friends, especially the Muslim. So this is more for the dividend player, for those who like it in here. Now the story we wrote about BToto posted 134 million lower profit due to COVID-19 with a back of 4.65 billion revenue, okay, and they are impacted by the COVID because people couldn't go out. The Empat Eco Nombo, the Magnum, all these could not be done. So, and as such, the COVID-19 affected them. So the but let's take a look at the what we call the foundation, the fundamental for BToto, right, continue to be good, giving you almost a PE of 21 times. Return on equity of 18%, but the dividend is only 7.66%. Something good for those who are looking for dividend but not much of a growth going here. Now the next story we wrote around the construction aluminium maker, no other than Press Metal. Okay, let me just look at Press Metal here. Right, it did post a lower profit, no doubt. All right, and let's look at Press Metal and the stock chart in here of 90 million, right, for the second quarter compared to 102.88 million for the 30th of June. So revenue also declined to 1.73 billion compared to 2.13 billion compared to last year. But chart wise, it's looking very good. You can see it, as soon as it broke through somewhere in end May, this stock rifled up from $3.70 to touching almost $5. Is it time to take profit? Right? I do believe it's time to take a bit of partial profit, but you have a lot of what we call no supply, right at this spot in here around 480. That does tell you there is potential for this market to go a bit higher. And let's check out the stock price for today. Right? The stock price today is up 0.2. I do see the resistance at 5 ringgit, and they broke through, they cannot break through. Let's wait a bit a while whether they can see this breakdown. If the country were to continue to recover, right, I do see Press Metal perhaps going higher on that chart wise, and the support is also there. So that's why it is good to know fundamental and technical and also follow a bit of news. Let's look at the news, right? And you can type on news. You can see in here news is certainly very positive. You can see Press Metal news of the net profit second quarter down 12% was also picked up by SmartRobie. SmartRobie certainly very, very smart, isn't it? All right, good. Thank you for all of you who's just joined us. Do share this video in your timeline. I really appreciate that. That's something that I felt that my services which is done here, absolutely free of charge, and little appreciation. Can be helped if you can share this video in your timeline. Let's move on to the next section that we have is no other than banking sector. Now, many of you may have bank sector, and that's why this report from Star talks about it very well. Now, they brought this out partly is because the reporting earnings are coming up from April to June, which is right now, all those because now we are in the month of August, right, coming to September, so the banks will be releasing news. And remember, 30% of our KLSE, our index, are depending on the financial sector. Definitely, if the financial sector recover, you got the rubber curve recover, 1600 breaking above 1618, which is the old high, is also possible in here. Now, I will be looking at this with a fine comb hair, and I will be reporting to you on Friday or next week when those results come out. But the analyst feels that many of the top banks will still be profitable. What does that mean? Public bank, Maybanks, are they making money? Well, we will know. And the comment that was made up, the loan growth was supported by housing and mortgage interest, and due to the announcement on Penjana. Now, if you've been following our program, you will have seen that there is also an automotive take-up. We are seeing very good responses on the property sector. So that may translate to better banks earning, but we are yet to be seen. But again, it will be very similar to all other industry on when it comes to earnings. Why? Because all of them will be like COVID-19. BToto earnings down. Press Metal also down, right? So I would also think these banks will be down, and because of COVID-19, with the exception of Dialog, because Dialog is a storage. There's so much oil up there. More of those so-called refinery are buying storage to store their oil so they can sell it at higher crude oil prices in future. So it's no rocket scientist why they do that. All right. So bank will face challenges, but they also believe, the analyst who's written this report, that the banks will still maintain the dividend payout. So this is also good for those of you, especially who don't like to read newspaper or can't get hold of one, and let me read it for you in our breakfast show. It's something I also enjoy doing, interacting with all of you. Do send me a message, say that you enjoy this show, and give me feedback to continue to improve this breakfast show, Money Talks with SmartRobie, so it can help you to make money and also make you a better informed person. I think that's very important, right? In this era of internet, sometimes there's so much information. Who do we listen to? Who do we talk to? Is important. I hope to be that informed person to you to help you brighten your day. Thank you very much and for your support. Now let's move on to our next section that we have here. Is no other than discover a new feature on SmartRobie every day. Now this is certainly make a lot of sense. We'll be talking about chat settings. Now chat settings is available on the tab menu in here, especially those of you like me cannot see because as you get older, so you need to enlarge the text of the SmartRobie responses. So you can definitely see in here, you can pick tiny, small, medium, and large. Of course, I went for medium. Large will be better for you. So don't forget to also share SmartRobie to your friends and to your timeline, or also just forward it to your friends on WhatsApp, and you're able to get 200 credit. That's right, 200 credit for every person who download. That will get you going for many days ahead. All right. Now our next story is very popular among all our listeners here, right? It's definitely no other than the Premium Alert. That's right. Now Premium Alert shows that the last Monday, this Monday peak was this two VS. We saw the news came out about the contract for the sanitizer. That's why it went up by 1.6% in here. And also MGB, I think it's more about construction, and it went up 3.5% here. Not much, so something that will be interesting to see how it goes. So very important, this peak for this morning, we spotted Notion Retech, and again Same thing like the rubber glove, it fell off and there was a recovery. So that's one of the stocks that I like, Notion VTech for the peak 19 August E42. Let's look at Notion VTech, okay? Notion. So you can see Notion VTech. Let's look at the stock price, which is, went up, now it came back down a bit. Early on, we saw the KLSE went up by 2%. 2 points, and now it's back to minus 4 points. So it's continued to be very choppy. As I said before, the retail market, as we go higher, market usually climb on the wall of worry. Now, this is what we've seen so far on the hourly chart in here. We switch back on a daily chart. We have seen an uptrust, but again, it's not confirmed. It's a nice entry. I like this stock too. All right, so this one is good. Notion VTech. Let's select another one, okay? And I'm going to go back to the premium alert. Right, we got Ken1, LKL or healthcare. Hey, we want to look at that one. SRAM, Prestarian, that's technology, Malakoff. What do you think? Do you like healthcare? Saucon? Maybe I will choose healthcare. Okay, hit that one. Okay, and I want to look at the stock prices. LKI, wow, 8%. This one, another rubber thing. Probably not. We have so many healthcare already. Okay, but let's look at the chart. All right, for interesting why those of you who really want to get into the healthcare, if you miss out, but again, chart formation is quite important for me. You can see market broke off again, and if you have the Pentagon, right, you would have gone in around 81 cents, and now 120 really made about 40%. Okay, now we're not going to use this one because I want to get away from healthcare. I want to look at Prestarian technology. Okay, let's look at Prestarian. Ooh, 10% also went up so much again, right? These fellas all run a lot already, okay? But we can wait on the pullback. That's one of the things that you can do. Now, Scott here want me to comment on something, Ken1. Usually, I don't do that on our breakfast show. I'll do it on another segment too. Like, if you look at Prestarian, it's up because of the big move in here. But I do think this one is, they have a pullback. So I'm going to go back in here. Nah, I don't like that one. It pulled back too much. The chart has pulled back a lot. So I'm just going to go on to another one, Malakoff, which is the corporation consumer product. GOB, Global Oriental. Saucom is utility. Malakoff. Prestarian looks to be the okay. SCRAM, which is hot. This one is quite good. Ceramic building. Okay, let's look at the stock price. 7.6%, and we go on to the stock here. We're looking at live chart, as you can see. SCRAM has moved up nicely, line change. All of them actually look the same. You know, you look at it, right? It's just matter choosing the right sector. I have to be very careful in choosing the right sector in here. Ken1, let's look at Ken1 here. Ken1 already gone up $2, so upside it's going to be a little bit less. But let's look at the chart now. Yeah, you can see, right, this chart, just one line bar. And usually this kind of upsurge in here, it's better to just pass it. You're not going to make money from that. It's all just a way of distributing it. So that's why it's important to use the hand. We talk about this in our masterclass, right? Just the brain will tell you which sector, the hand will tell you the setup is good or not. And that way you won't get caught into stocks like this. Let's go on and see any other stocks that we like. It's kind of difficult to look for it. Ken1, as I share with you as I go on. LKL seems to be okay, you know, the healthcare one. If not, I'm not much of a choice. Let's look at Malakoff. I'm not that bullish on utility because how do I know that? I look at the sector analysis, which we have it on our Trade VSA. Property, okay, I will take a look at LKH again. Let's take a look at that. 01, okay, hit the stock prices. And then I'll go on to this one in here. I might take LKL out of the time frame that we have in here. Okay. Yeah, I think this one is okay. We buy on the pullback. Okay. So LKL, right? This is the one. I'll write it down and we will come back to review this on Friday. Okay. This one is not too bad. You have some pullback, and if you buy on the pullback, just like the other day where we did a US trade, it did make money too. All right. So that's for the stock pick for today, and we will go on to the next talk, which is very important for tonight. So make sure you catch me at 9:30. We will talk about COVID-19 vaccine counter versus gold. I have done, together with my research team, a very good presentation to list out the sectors, both from the US, from the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, plus the Malaysian, that has a little bit of link to the COVID-19. So I'll see you tonight, 9:30. Make sure you join me tonight. And don't forget, alright, to those of you who are first-time listener, join our Telegram chat room. We are almost 5.5K. Of course, we like to grow more. And don't forget, share this in your timeline. And I'll see you tonight at 9:30. With that, I bid you a good morning and have a good day. For the rest of the day, may your day be pleasant and wonderful as it has done for me every day. Bye-bye.